Back in the days, I always had trouble with making conversations, and most of them ended up in awkward silence. Getting into a conversation is one thing, but how you can make sure that the conversation is keep going on forever? How can you become a person who never runs out of things to say or ask? A few years ago, I did my own research, and all my findings helped me to finally understand all the small tips and tricks which could help me nowadays to keep any kind of conversation going on. In this video, I would like to share with you 10 tips which can help you out next time when you are talking with somebody. Tip 1. Look interested. Nothing kills a conversation faster than a face which says, "Oh, come on, just tell me what do you want from me and leave me alone." The first thing you can do immediately if you want to keep a conversation going is to look interested and curious. What does this mean exactly? First, don't hesitate to smile. Maintain the right level of eye contact, and one very important thing is to avoid checking your phone. When you are checking your phone in a conversation, then it can send a message to your partner that even though you don't know what they are going to say, still you find your phone more interesting than the conversation itself. Lastly, it's also a good idea to mimic your partner's gestures a bit like how they stand, how they use their hands, and so on, because these kind of actions make you more likable in their eyes. Tip 2. Ask open-ended questions. Close-ended questions attract only two different types of answer, yes or no. Close-ended questions like, did you enjoy your workout? Did you read the book what we talked about? Or one of my favorite is, was the weather nice? Instead of focusing on questions like these, it is more reasonable to look for open-ended questions which can help you to keep a conversation going on. Open-ended questions will be like, what did you do today? What's your plan for the rest of the week? Or what kind of books are you going to buy? As you can see, these questions can be answered with a simple yes or no, but keep in mind that your goal is not only to ask these type of questions, but rather to find the balance between closed and open-ended questions. So if you continuously only ask open-ended questions, sometimes it can be frustrating or tiring for your conversation partner. Tip 3. Don't ignore small talks. People don't like small talks, it's a fact. They have a bad reputation, but that doesn't mean that they can't help you to keep a conversation going, or even better, lead to something more significant. They can be especially useful when you just met with somebody, as they can help you to earn the right to have a deeper conversation. Moreover, small talks can help to connect us smoother and make us comfortable with each other. Lastly, don't forget that getting too personal already in the beginning of a conversation can be sometimes frustrating or uncomfortable. So all in all, it's absolutely a good idea to start any kind of conversation with a little bit of small talk. Tip 4. Listen actively. Active listening requires you to listen attentively to your partner. Understand what they are saying and also respond and reflect on what's being said. And of course, retain the information. People like to emphasize the importance of active listening, and I find it as a key factor if you want to keep a conversation going on successfully. When you are actively listening to your partner, it's not only about to let or not even letting them finish their speech and looking for the opportunity to get the spotlight on you in the conversation. Instead, you truly pay attention to their words and sentences, you ask questions back, you show your feelings and gestures. So all in all, you really get into a conversation where your partner feels that you are taking them and also the conversation itself seriously. Tip 5. Ask follow-up questions. Most of the conversations die out because the participants are not showing further interest. However, any kind of conversation can keep going on if you start to ask follow-up questions. Here is an example for a situation which contains a follow-up question. What did you do today? Worked mainly, and I'm a bit tired right now. What's up with your work? Are you still suffering from the tons of tasks? In this conversation, we already asked an open-ended question in the beginning, and we continued with a follow-up question after the answer came. These kind of questions always give the opportunity to our conversation partner to freely talk about their feelings and thoughts, which can be continued with further follow-up questions or sharing your own thoughts, and this will lead to the next tip. Tip 6. Find the balance between sharing and asking. Previously, I have already mentioned that asking too many questions, even if they are open-ended or follow-up ones, can ruin the conversation. If you want to keep a conversation going, then you have to find the right balance between sharing and asking. Your partner don't want to talk all the time, but if they also take the conversation seriously, then they will be interested in you too. When you try to find the right balance in a conversation, it's a good idea to apply the IFR method, which stands for inquire, ask a question, follow up, ask a follow-up question, relate, which means that you share something about yourself just to make sure that you break your questions. With IFR method, you can keep the balance between sharing and asking. So in the end, it can keep the conversation going on, and also the participants will feel the same level of importance of their role. And this is exactly what we would like to achieve regarding a conversation. To develop a healthy level where both of us feel comfortable and we are sharing and asking at the same time. Tip 7. Find a mutual interest. If you want to keep a conversation going, then sooner or later you have to find a mutual interest to talk about. This is one of the main reasons why you have to ask open-ended and also follow-up questions already in the beginning, because finding the first mutual interest can drastically change the perspective of your conversation. Why mutual interests are so powerful? Because when you find one, it can deepen the conversation and be more likable in each other's eyes, as you already feel that you share the same interests. This can be a breaking point, as after you found the first mutual interest, you can finally leave the small talk behind and also discuss something that both of you enjoy. Tip 8. Be okay with silence. Silence is a natural part of conversations, but somehow we tend to think that silence is a bad sign. This is the first mistake what we can make. Silence becomes awkward only if you start to panic and make the situation actually awkward. So next time when there is a silence in your conversation and you still want to keep it going, the best you can do to relax and try to take off the pressure from yourself and from your partner. In these moments, humor can be an excellent tool, as it can help you to lead a conversation into another direction and also get most of out the silence. Here is a funny example. So this is how my house got on fire. Well, at least you learned some basic surviving skill, didn't you? Yeah, that's actually true. But be careful. Sometimes humor won't be on your side, so you have to learn to utilize it wisely. And if you would like to improve your sense of humor, then feel free to click on the screen and watch my previous video where I have collected a couple of useful tips and tricks which can help you out. Tip 9. Say whatever is on your mind. This technique is called blurting, which is the complete opposite of overthinking. Back in the days, I overcomplicated everything in a conversation. Before I said even a single sentence, I already had 5 different scenarios in my head why my sentence would be okay or not regarding the conversation. If you are already acting like I did, then blurting can be a good idea because it is a very simple technique. Say whatever is on your mind, if it is not offensive to your partner. So next time when you are in a conversation and you want to keep the conversation going, feel free to say the first thing which comes to your mind. Try not to worry about coming off as smart or clever. Just speak with the bottom of your heart. You will be amazed how many things you actually want to say if you are not overthinking, and who knows what's coming next. Maybe you will find the first mutual interest with your conversation partner and everything becomes smoother. Tip 10. Stay positive. My last tip if you want to keep a conversation going is to stay positive. We love to hang out and talk with people who always see the bright side of life. Nobody wants to spend time with somebody who always blames or criticizes others or complains about everything. When we got into a conversation, we would like to find some joy in it. share our feelings and thoughts, experience funny moments, or find somebody who actually listens us. Shortly, try to stay positive as much as you can, just to become the person who can bring joy into others' life anytime when they got into a conversation with you. Trust me, you won't be only a role model in their eyes, but you will also find good connections thanks to your attitude. So that's all what I wanted to share with you today, and if you enjoyed my video, please don't hesitate to show some support and also subscribe, watch my previous video, and see you next time.